Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy.
Don't forget to hit those thumbs up on your way in or your way out this morning. Good morning. Happy Thursday, December 11th.
From the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to break cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
are coming live to you very, very early this morning, but it's the only time we're going to be able to get a live in if we're going to do one today. Today is a planning meeting for me and also a ribbon cutting. So I'm up, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to get out of here, but we need to take care of some work first. I did, just to let you know, Jules was able to get a hold of me. So I have talked to her. She will be coming up on the show. I'm not sure exactly when. I just got in touch with her. So, and then today I'm going to be pretty much busy most of the day. I've got the planning meeting. We're going to try to make it over to the ribbon cutting if we can get over there from the planning meeting in time. And then hopefully I'll be back sometime early afternoon. I might be able to put together something, you know, quick or short or whatever the case may be. Thank you. Yeah, I try to, if it wasn't for the ribbon cutting, I'd be in a t-shirt that said basically like, you know, I advocate with my t-shirts too. Okay. So I don't know, but usually I'm not this nice going to a planning meeting. I can promise you that. But if we're going to be going to a ribbon cutting after, or attempt to go to a ribbon cutting after, I've got to look like I actually belong at a ribbon cutting. Okay. So, at the end of the day, that's kind of where we are today. Thank you guys. Thank you. Every now and again, I can polish up pretty well. I didn't do anything with my hair. I really didn't. I washed it. I washed it, and it kind of, I'm just like, however it falls today is however it falls today. It was pretty early this morning. I don't know how early you guys get up or how early you guys start getting dressed in the morning, but you know, when you work for yourself from home and you can pretty much run the show in your pajamas, to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get a shower, to paint your entire face on when you don't usually paint a face on, it gets a little daunting. It took me like an hour. I felt like a prima donna this morning. I feel like, good gracious, I started at 4 o'clock. It's 5:30. Chop, chop, lady. Chop, chop. How do you women do this every day? I don't know. I used to do it every day, but I was younger. I didn't need... I didn't need this much plaster. I'm just saying. I didn't need this much plaster twice this week. Oh, good gracious. Good gracious. I don't remember, you know, having to, you know, put up, you know, basically a plastic face on your face just to go out of the house. Well, anyways, guys, good morning. I was almost thinking I forgot to charge the handy dandy buttons, right? I forgot to charge the handy dandy buttons. There they are. There they are. Hold on. Let's put them up. Hold on. There's the handy dandy buttons right there. Oh, come on. Well, we do thank you. If something like this has the least amount of advertising. They never bother me with the advertisements, even if it pops up every now and again. So I got a soundboard so I could hit these things. And we only got a few. You know, I mean, I got 16 here. I got 16 buttons here. Okay? And while they're all right, these, man. I think I got this one just for the clappy. I don't know. I like this clappy better than any clappy that we have out there on the market. All right. Really, did you have to go that way? Okay. I had an opportunity to watch, let me break this down. Okay, this is going to be the last little political talk that I'm going to have. And I really need to bring up the more appropriate, hold on, let me see. Hold on, let me see which one that is. That is fill-in. Okay. I kind of think I need the fill-in. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, there you are. There you are, you little stink pot. Let's see if we can get this a little bit better. Hold on. Let's get this in. Fill in. It looks like you're just kind of all out. Oh yeah, we got to get you. We want to make sure Candace's crazy face is just all right here. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's get the, cuz she is just that crazy. So I happened to, dive into Pascal because I never really see Pascal. Yeah, well, in all fairness, I wanted to see how Pascal handled political talking points because I don't know which way he, votes or anything like that. But I like to see, other people's, when they bring up political stuff. I like to hear how they handle the commentary. I like how Pascal handles the commentary. He's very non-confrontational. And I think he kind of, he doesn't get drawn into the trends, if you really truly believe something, whether I oppose his, that particular product item or whatever the case may be, I think that he really does put his thought into it. I don't think he just goes with the wind is my point, And so he was talking about the whole Candace Owen and Erica Kirk. First of all, the reason why I have nothing to do with Candace Owen, why I do not have any respect to Candace Owen for what she's doing to Erica Kirk. Okay. I don't really care how anybody feels about a political talking head. I don't care if it was President Biden or Hunter Biden. Okay. My point is this man was murdered in cold blood. He was ripped from his family that loved him. I looked at pictures of, it's going to be hard. I looked at pictures just recently of the Thanksgiving holiday for Erica. And when you see his daughter's face, it's going to take a little minute to try to get through this because it pulls at my heart. And you see that little girl, so sad. And all these pictures that her mom's just trying to show happiness to the world. It breaks your heart. Because you see that little girl's sadness and she's sad. So with that being said, I really don't care how people feel about Erica. But to see so many people believe that her pain is fake is just unfathomable. I mean, this is not a joke. This is not she is a human being, folks. She is a human being. A human being. Okay? That was married to a man. She obviously loved this man. She had 2 children with this man, and you're saying her pain is fake? Have you lost your mind? Has everybody out there? Because I saw some people in his chat. Now, granted, I understand people have an opinion about Charlie Kirk, but at the end of the day, he was preaching the Bible. So for the people that think his speech was so evil, he was preaching the Bible. He was saying what the Bible is saying, that people don't want to acknowledge. And they call that hate speech. Well, I'm a Bible thumper. Well, not really. I'm religious. Far from being a Bible thumper. He loved learning about the word, and he loved sharing it. And apparently the word is controversial. But when I saw so many people in his chat, and he was keeping it real. That's where my respect came from. That's why I went ahead and wanted to tell the story, because he believed her pain was real. And he sat there with all the people saying fake, 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 fake. He's like, no, I think her pain's real. Okay. That tells me something about Pascal. A lot, quite frankly. Tells me a lot about the person Pascal, right? It shows me that he thinks for himself. He's not really pulled or twisted or bound up by the people in his chat, which is a good thing. And I think there needs to be more people like that. Not that he agrees 100%, not that he agrees with Charlie Kirk. I don't know how he feels about it. I've never spoke to him. I've never asked him. I pop into places just to see who the content creators are, who they are when people aren't looking. Right. And it just helps me guide me to find out, do I really want to say something about them? Do I really want to talk about their, coverage of this? Because I really do try to find, not that I'm perfect at it, but I do try to find reputable people that I debut on my show. I just don't pull any old person talking about anything. If I'm going to pull their content and use it on my show, I want it to be somebody that kind of, mimics the morale of this channel. We pull a lot of stuff from Pascal. We talk about a lot of stuff from Pascal's show. So it's always good to find out, where they stand and where their integrity is, right? And again, I don't know who he is. I don't know how he votes. I don't really care. I care about who he is as a person, right? And who he is as a person really shined, I think, yesterday with his commentary on Candace and Erica. But my point here with Candace is I don't think I'm ever going to be okay with Candace. When you hurt another woman so viciously for whatever reason, I still can't understand why she would hurt or try to point to a a widowed woman and do all this pain to her and her family and her friends. You know, one person can cause such pain to so many people. And Candace is no different than a hate channel at this point. She has no moral compass. Okay, she's lost her way. She, in my opinion, has now went from a good person to an evil person. Because you cannot sit there and look at those little kids and still speak that venom that she speaks. She no longer cares. And she's profiting so greatly to the tune of $100,000, thousands of dollars, thousands and thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars. She has profited off of this disgusting narrative. Shame on her. Shame on her. We do give people the rights to speak in this country. It's our First Amendment. Many of us fight for that. While we cannot take that away, there is something we can do. We can stop listening. We can turn the channel. We can unsubscribe. I unsubscribed from everything. When she went down this and I knew how bad it was hurting Erica, I unsubscribed from her. I didn't want any more to do with her. I'm never going to be a part or a party to hurting another woman viciously for no reason, for no good cause. If I'm going to destroy another woman, she had to practically kill somebody. Okay? There is no other excuse for me to dive into their life and try to literally cause them harm. And that is exactly what Candace Owens has done. I will no longer support, I pray to God, anybody that has supported her in the past, hears my calling, and stops. Unsubscribe from her. Let the world know we reject what she is doing to Charlie Kirk's friends and family. We reject it. We wholeheartedly reject it because we will always be on the right side of things. On the side, we're from the true crime community. There's nobody that scrutinizes things more than the true crime community, and not a crackpot freaking political activist like Candace Owens. Okay, and years ago, you guys could have said the same thing about me, but I've been doing this a long time. I understand law. I understand protocols from law enforcement, from the FBI down to local law enforcement. That is what we do here on this channel. This is in our wheelhouse, and I can tell you from my perspective, from my experience, this woman is off base, and she's doing it for a grift, and it's pretty sick since she's married to one of the richest people in the world. Okay? So shame on Candace Owens. Shame on her for what she is doing. The narrative she's driving is false. People that I trusted, Melanie on X, you know, one of the gals that's been with me for a really long time. And she's like, but I'm just listening. You drink that Kool-Aid. I'm done. I tap out. I want nothing to do with this woman. Nothing. There is nothing she can do. Okay, guys. That's my diatribe going into this morning. Thank you for giving me some time to bend your ear. But we are anti-Candace Owens until she decides to get right with the Lord. Okay? What she is doing is being a sheep and wolf, a wolf in sheep clothing. Okay? And she just unmasked herself. And we've had a lot of that because a lot of people were making a name on the coattails of Donald J. Trump, in my opinion. A lot of people were, including Candace Owens. She was following. She was never a leader. She just happened to be a good person, and her and Charlie Kirk bonded, and they were able to work on something amazing. And then Candace was the weakest link. She couldn't hack it. So what happened at the end of 2022? Their relationship splintered. They were done. Now, I don't know if they were kind of courting each other or something, because I'm telling you, she seems like a jealous ex-girlfriend, if you ask me. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from Candace Owens, is the jealous ex-girlfriend vibe, okay? Now, I don't know what her relationship was with Charlie Kirk, or how involved they got. I do know at some point it sizzled, it fizzled, it was done. It was done, and then all of a sudden, Charlie is dating Erica. And that may have been the fracture. She may not have been able to handle the fact that he was not interested in her. I don't know. But something happened in 2022. Something major with their relationship happened. And after that, Candace stopped going to TPA USA events. We would see her here and there at some Blexit events, but that was about it. And then after that, she was just no longer, we never heard from her related to TP USA anymore. It was just, she was done. She was there for 2022. I remember I had an opportunity to say hi to her and speak to her for just a few moments in between some meetings she was going to. And she was very popular. Many people were chasing after her, and she's just a dud now. And she's ruining her reputation by the day. I don't think she's going to survive this, but who knows? We've got a lot of stupid people in this country. Okay, I just hope none of the people in here are as stupid as I'm just hoping, because I can tell you personally, there is nobody on that TPA University or or TPA USA that would ever hurt Charlie. Nobody from his inner circle would ever hurt Charlie. And the thought that this woman is passing those lies around is ridiculous. Okay? This to me, if we had to look at it, is this an MK Ultra type of assassination? I don't know. I don't know. Do I believe somebody was in the ear of Tyler Robinson? Yes, I do. Do I believe he was smart enough to just think of this all on his own? No, I do not. Do I think he was with some bad people and communicating with some bad people? I certainly do. Is there possibility of foreign actors? MK Ultra, yeah, it could be a foreign actor, but what we learned from the FBI is there is no evidence that a foreign actor is involved. They're not saying, when they say that, they're not saying that there's nobody else involved. They're saying there's no evidence that there is any type of outside influence so far. And you got to understand, the FBI is not running this investigation. The state of Utah is, okay? And we've got questionable people in the state of Utah. So, I think people need to understand, and this is the shit that Candace doesn't understand. And she just thinks that because she's Candace, if she comes up here and says, well, I want to see this and I have a right to see it. No, you do not. This is a criminal investigation. Who the hell do you think you are? You're Candace Owens. So what? You still bleed red. You're no different than Bullhorn Betty, okay? Come back down, little girl. Come back down, okay? Come back down. Come back down off that high horse. That's all I'm saying. Come back down off that high horse. So that's kind of where we are with the Candace Owens. And I thought it was important to say that because I had just watched Pascal yesterday and I saw some people in his chat. It broke my heart. I will be honest with you. Hearing so many people say such horrible things about Erica Kirk. I mean, no matter how you think about somebody, they're still a human being and they still have feelings. She loved and honored her husband. She laid down and made 2 beautiful babies with this man. And people are saying that her pain is fake. You guys need to go find some Jesus. There's something wrong with you. Okay? There is something wrong with you. Because I don't know how you would feel about your husband having his neck blown out. But I can imagine that as a normal human being, it's got to be pretty freaking painful. I think lots of people out here on this social media streets need to get right with Jesus. A lot of you. Because you're the problem. The people that sit there and mock her pain, you're the problem. Every last one of you are the problem. Every last one of you. All right, guys. Now that I had an opportunity to judge all of you that were judging Miss Erica Kirk, how does it feel? Because you guys look like slimy pieces of shit. I just want to put that out there. I speak my mind. If you don't like it, leave. It's that simple. That's simple. All right, guys. Thank you for allowing me to bend your ear this morning. We do have a goal. Don't forget, we got goals running on both sides, the vertical as well as the horizontal. We're giving away a shirt tomorrow. So if you guys would like your drawing into the shirt, get it up. And I don't know what shirt it is. It's a Bullhorn Betty shirt, okay? She's got a lot of different designs you can choose from, and you can get the size that you want, so it's going to fit you or the person you'd like to get it for, right? Nobody's saying you gotta keep it for yourself. All right? I mean, I'm not a ho, but you can pass me around. I'm just saying. My shirts, that is. That's all I'm saying. Oh, I'm just joking. So, if you guys, I want a shirt. Well, you never know. We're gonna be doing more drawings throughout the 2026 year. I think it's gonna be a good year. We're gonna be shaking some of the court stuff we have, hopefully. Cross the fingers we get all done with all this court stuff. I don't think the Pennsylvania stuff's going away anytime soon, despite popular belief. But I believe the Tennessee stuff is going to be wrapped up this year. Okay, and I think there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff that comes from that. But either way, let me get down here. Where are we? There we are. So we have been talking about Sebastian Rogers, and Sebastian Rogers was 15 years old when he disappeared from his home, okay? And he hasn't been seen or heard from since. We have just recently had a birthday for him, his 17th birthday. We're coming up to a 2-year milestone. I am going to be outside of Sumner County for an entire week. Okay. It is, I would like to see how many of you guys are going to be coming to that event. I want everybody to be there on the 26th. If you had to pick a day, if you could only be there for one day, I want you all there on the 26th. Okay. I don't need people helping me. If you guys want to come out, don't misunderstand me. I love people. So if you guys want to come out the 23rd throughout the week, you're more than welcome. But I'm a one-man show. If you can't make it, I'm fine with it. What I want from my audience, what I want for the people out there in the public, what I want from, I'd like Justin and Smiley Stories World to advertise this. I want people there. But if you can only be there for a day or two, I want it around the 26th, okay? Not the 23rd. The 26th is the 2-year milestone. That is the most impactful day. That is the day I want to be the most impactful. If you would like to, please make signs. If you have children and they want to get involved in it, let them make signs. The more signs you have, the merrier, because there are going to be some people that are going to be there that have no signs. So we want, hawk for Sebastian. We want the instructions to be very, very clear. We're there to represent a 17-year-old boy, okay? We want to be loud. We want to be happy. We want to be smiling. We want to be waving. We want to just, it is, we're out here for but we don't need to be horrible people. This is a horrible cause we're out here for, but we don't need to be horrible people. What we need to do is bring a lot of love to the community. We need to show this. We need to lead this community by example. Okay. This community is missing something. Okay, when so many people can sit idly by while a situation that we are dealing with is ongoing, it's time to start leading by example. It's time to start showing a community what it looks like to have a backbone, what it looks like to stand up and say something. You don't need to be nasty to people to be effective. You can show up with a smile on your face and still be a pain in the ass, okay? And that's the message we want to send. We want to send a positive message that we love Sebastian Rogers. We want to know what happened to this young man. We are all out here fighting. Even when that community is not fighting, we're going to bring people in to show the whole community, people are out there. You're not alone. Stand up. Come forward. We will help you. We will protect you. We will fight your government with you. To have the truth be known. We will be there for you. I lead by example. I do it with positivity. What happened to me in this county was wrong. And we're going to get to the bottom of it. And at the end of this, I am going to be vindicated. What was done to me was wrong and can never happen ever again inside this county. I will be damned. Nobody, and I mean nobody, deserves to be treated like me by a government such as Sumner County. How dare you? How dare you? But here we are. We're in a situation where this young man has been gone, what appears to be a lifetime. We have a law enforcement body that doesn't appear to be doing anything to move the needle. It seems like they didn't know what the heck they were doing from the beginning, and now here we are. So guys, before we get started and jumped in, let me say hi to everybody here. Let me go over here to the folks that have participated. Oh, thank you. Look at all of this. Melanie saying, happy Thursday, Betty, Delilah, mods and chat. Let's send some love to the love machine. Hit the like button because I'm a love machine. Ow! We got Nerdy Girl, newest member to the crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. And Sonia saying, let's help BHB reach your super chat goal. Thank you, my love. Thank you. Holiday Christmas. Texas woman, thank you so much for the love. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Nero says prayers for K9 CP Jules and Gator, both violently attacked in the line of duty, both recovering now home from the hospital. Yes, thank you. And I spoke to her briefly on chat. Well, she spoke to me. I reached out to her by chat because I tried calling her and I left her a message. And, obviously she's not feeling very well. So I took her a couple days, but she did text me back this morning, or maybe it was last. I don't know what it was. I got it this morning. And, YouTuber gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. All right, guys. So I've got to watch the time this morning because I've got to be somewhere. So we're kind of down to about an hour and 20 minutes, which I think we'll be able to get through a bulk of the conversations that we are set to have here related to this case. So we kind of came into this case fairly early on, March 16th. We were dealing with the Riley Strain case before. We had heard a little bit about this young autistic boy that disappeared from his home, but didn't know a whole host about it. And so after the Riley Strain, we were looking for another case to go over. We found that there was a conclusion in Riley Strain, as many of you know, very sad. But we had another case. There were so many people that showed up for Riley Strain. God bless his mother, the family, everybody, just beautiful, beautiful people. And there were so many volunteers that because this case was so close to Riley Strain, many of those volunteers just decided to go down toward Hendersonville. It was only an hour away. They've resolved one missing person. They drove an hour away and they were starting to search for another missing person. And this missing person was Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. The problem here for this family is, and it is, and I say a problem because it's a problem for Chris and Katie, because it was social media. So when social media went down there, it got the attention of other content creators such as me and JLR and Chronicles of Olivia and some other, heavy names in the true crime community that go down in the hollers. My car was broken at the time, so I would have been there, but I physically couldn't get there. I had no ability to get to Tennessee. And so this was just a crazy case that was getting crazier by the day. And it just seemed to me that the parents, the mom and the stepdad, were just acting like bozos. I mean, here we have a missing child. You would think, especially a military mom, and she pull out all stops. Military. I know military moms. I'm from Manatee County. I mean, we have a freaking a military base just right across the bridge in Tampa, MacDill. So military is a lifeblood here in this community. Okay, we're just over a bridge. Yeah, it's Hillsborough County, but where am I sandwiched? I'm sandwiched between Hillsborough County and Sarasota County, right? So it's just over the bridge, and we have an Air Force base. So I know military people. We have a lot of military. I'm involved in my politics. Trust me, there you wouldn't believe how many people are military that do all this stuff, that set up all this stuff, from all your cities and counties from across the country. The majority of the people that are always behind everything, they're usually the military, the retired military that we have. I know that there's multiple groups around here, and the people that lead those groups have military experience. They understand chains of commands. They understand, how things flow, because that's what they're taught. It's in their wheelhouse. They're very good at organizing. They really are. And they do they are able to pull a lot of people in. So you would have expected this military mom to basically be ready to run this mission, right? If nothing more, the cocky, military stepdad. Nobody can do a job like me, right? Mr. Arrogant Chris. I can do it better. I can do it better, right? Mr. Arrogant Chris, right? Taking the lead, you know, like these officers don't know nothing. Let me show them how it's done, right? Let me show them how it's done. Nothing. We got none of that arrogance from these military parents. They sat back and did nothing. How many people in my chat know military people, are from a military family, are military themselves? Raise your hand in my chat. Hey, Kelly, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Turkey Man, you guys are all over in the vertical chat, so most of us are over here in the horizontal chat, but I see you. Good morning, loves. I hope you're doing well. Me and... Oh, Manda, it's nice to see you. Good morning. People have ticked me off so much over how they've acted over his death. Me too. Me too. Rena, it's nice to see you. Vicky, good morning. Hey, guys, I'm seeing you. Oh, Jules. Jules said clappy, laughing disco ball. Thank you, Jessica. Oh, I love it. Thank you, guys. I miss those. I miss those. Thank you. Big Mac Mike, it's nice to see you. Guys, just give me a second. I wanted to say hi to the people on the vertical stream so they don't feel like they're left out. Because some of them like the vertical stream. And it's not fair that they like the vertical stream and I don't say hi to them. Earth to Ashley, it's nice to see you. Brenda Sue, Turkey Man, good morning. Much love. I hope you're doing well, my friend. I hope you're doing well. BHB, do you know where to make a good resume for free online? Mine updated fast. Yeah, I'll tell you the best way to do it if you already had already had one previously. The best and fastest way to do it, if you want to cheat, is ChatGPT. Put that in there. You can add a document. Put your old document in there. Tell ChatGPT any of the changes to it or the additions to it, and let it prepare your resume and put it in Word doc. And then once you got it in Word doc, you can upload it to Google Docs if you don't have Word on your computer. But if you do have Word on your computer, you can modify it and make it look the way you would want to make it look, and just cut and paste that information in. That would be the fastest way to do something quickly. Otherwise, the best way would be to upload it into Google Docs and just redo it. So that's what I would do, Kelly. That's just my opinion. My opinion. Cheyenne, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Laura, good morning. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. All right, guys. So that's kind of where we're starting off at with this. You know, we have a situation where this child allegedly went inside this home. Now, there's two avenues that we can use, and I don't want to leave anybody out, so I'm going to try to use them interchangeably. So there's two main theories here that I think that everybody in the chat is on. You're on now. Just and if I'm wrong, for the people that I'm wrong, if there's a third theory, pipe it, write it in the chat so I can grab it. I'm watching the chat while I'm saying this. But it seems like we have two different types of theories here. I think the first theory is that Sebastian never made it home. Now, that can be split into two ways too, but we're just going to say never made it home theory, and it's going to cover both theories. And both theories would be that he never made it home, that there was some type of exchange with him, or he was handed off to somebody else. Like there was, he was either, given to the team at the Texas Roadhouse or whatever. But either way, there's a theory, whatever the reason you don't believe he made it home, there's the theory he didn't make it home, and then there's the theory he did make it home, right? So I think that there's really two theories that have several nuances to it. Would you guys agree with that? If you agree with that, put a 1 in the chat. If you disagree with that, put a 2 in the chat, but tell us why you disagree with that. Hey, Lexi, it's nice to see you. Kelly, mom of 9.5, it's nice to see you. Laura, it's showing 2 shows on mine. Yes. So you guys, if you look at the top, I've got it pinned. It says vertical stream. That's the vertical stream. And you can tell because on the vertical stream, I have Bullhorn Betty above my head. And on the horizontal stream, we have a thumbnail with Sebastian, me screaming at, Chris on the thing, and it's like a purplish pink background. So you can tell which one you're in. And if you don't know, just exit out, go to the channel. If you go to the channel, you go to the live section, you'll see 2 of the lives. You can tell by the H. I might have to change the do a title. Maybe I'll have to start doing 2 maybe I'll have to start doing 2 thumbnails. And if you do the 2 thumbnails, maybe you guys will see that this thumbnail's for the vertical stream and this one's for I don't know. We'll have to we'll do something in the chat. Oh, there you are, Amanda. Trump is key part, I believe. Yes. The thump is a key part. It's the Trump. I'm still in political. I had still in the political cloud. Sorry. The thump is a key part. I do believe, because this is what I think the thump has to do with. And again, this is only my opinion. Hey, Fokker's dad, it's nice to see you. I don't think I said hi to everybody. Little Miss Sharon, it's nice to see you. Jules, it's nice to see you. Lisa B. Always. Denise, a real me too. Sonia, I know you're in the house. It's nice to see you. I think it is because this is what I heard, and most of the stuff that I've heard, it took a little while, but it has panned out to be true. Like him screaming at the news reporters, he would never really answer that. But after I spoke to a few people that were present, it was not him telling them, nicely to take the cameras off his house. He was very, overbearing, demanding, acted very authoritarian. Acted like a communist, okay? It seems like Chris doesn't really belong to any other party but Communist Party, right? Because he's a commie. He wants to control people. He wants to tell them what to do. But I do believe the thump is a key part, because we heard Chris was going around checking people's video cameras, that he got to the video cameras before law enforcement in many cases, and that's a little terrifying to me. That's what I heard. And I still believe that. I think that was an accurate statement. I think one of his first things he did while they were all out there in the field, because Katie's got them running, looking toward water, because he loves to fish, right? Oh, give me a break. But I do think the thump is key. I think the thump is key because I think they may have heard something on the video, or they were concerned that somebody may have heard something. When I hear something like a thump or a thud, and they were talking about the thump or the thud, and we know that they are very ultra aware of video cameras in their neighborhood and on their house, I think that they were concerned about the noise being evident on one of those cameras, and that's why they needed to bring up the thump. I think they were worried that it was going to be heard, and they didn't want to be deceptive up front, and I think that's why that came out of the gate, that there was this thump or thud. But with them concerned about a thump or thud being so loud that they bring it up before they're addressed, like by it being on a camera, a Ring doorbell camera of some sort. And I do believe if it was loud enough, because we know how cameras pick up. I mean, when I'm in the kitchen, it's the weirdest thing. I'm in the kitchen and I say, it's going to do it right now, I'm gonna have to cancel it. And I say, hey Siri. My phone will pick up that literally from across the room. It didn't do it. From across the room. I can be in the kitchen. It can have a freaking TV going in my bedroom. Delilah can be playing with a squeaky toy on the bed. And I will just faintly talk very normal and say, hey Siri, set me an alarm for whatever. It will pop on. It will set that alarm. And I'm like, how did it hear me? I thought the phone was behind my on the dining table, and it's not. It's all the way in the room, and it heard my voice, and it set the alarm that set the timer. So I have to think that, these Ring doorbell cameras, they turn on. They turn on by movement or sound. And I think that the sound may have vibrated a little bit, but to think of a thud and to hear her say thud, I think that she was concerned about a sound being observed or noticed on one of these attached cameras, from a neighboring property. And if that's the case, can you imagine how loud that thud had to have been? Can you imagine how loud that thud had to have been? Which also supports, in my opinion, what happened. So the question going in here is, do we think that this was premeditated or spur of the moment? And I think, oh, there's Turkey Man. There's Turkey Man. Did they find the remains? No, they did not. They found remains about 2.5 hours away from his home. And we calculated about 8 missing people from that county, which that's a lot of missing people from one county. I'm sorry, it just is. And to think that ours from a 10-year span, we have 8 people in a 10-year span. That's like, and people were disappearing, one person every year, it seemed like, there for a little bit. But it was in Marion County, and I think it would have been closer to Summer Wells, but I don't know who that could be. But there is one case that really, and it was one lady by the name of Erica something. And she went into the woods. It didn't really, none of these descriptions of where these people disappeared in Marion County were very specific. So I couldn't find out, did anybody disappear in the Sequatchie, Sequatchie, whatever, creek, whatever. I can't remember the name of the park, whatever. I remember Sequatchie. That's what I remember, right? Sequatchie something road, okay? So anyways, we get out there we start looking into it, and none of them say anything, but there's this one lady, her name's Erica, and they said she went into the woods and she never came back out, and her dog came out alone, and they've never been able to find her. And so hearing that she's in this person is in a remote area, even though they didn't give us any type of description, male, female, they just said remains. So that tells me it's probably, some bones, and those bones may have very well been scattered because of wildlife and other things as the person broke down. But no remains of Sebastian. Sebastian has not been, I don't know if we'll ever find Sebastian, in all fairness, because Chris was too confident that we're never going to find Sebastian. And when I start hearing confidence like that coming from a stepfather, it makes me feel like he knows that he'll never be found, because there's nothing, that's my how my brain thinks, just how my brain thinks. Maybe it meant something else, but in my brain, it makes me feel like, Chris took care of the problem, made sure there's nothing left of the problem. I don't think he's responsible for the problem he had to clean up. I just think I don't see anybody else doing it. I just don't. So getting back onto this case, we have a situation where we don't know. We've looked at this case many different angles. We're still unsure. I still think I think there's more people that are starting to believe that he made it home than not, but we'll have to do a poll and find out. And I would like to get that poll. And it has to do with Sonny, not Eric Craddock. It's Sonny's statement that makes me believe that this child did make it to his home. And I'm hoping that he did make it to his home, because at least it will limit persons of interest, okay? If he didn't make it home, well, we have the whole world to look at. If he made it home, well, we only have one person to look at. And I think that's really kind of helping us hone in. And again, it's hard for me to explain what was being taken out of the house that night at 3 a.m. in the morning. It looked pretty large. And in my opinion, it could very well be a human being being taken out, such as a 15-year-old, 5 foot, 5'6", 120-pound being. It could be that. And so my question is, if he didn't make it home, what the hell are they dragging out of the side of the house? Because it looked pretty stinking big, okay? And it didn't seem like they took a whole lot of clothes out of the house, because all his clothes were still in the house. That was the problem. Nothing was missing. So I can't say that they loaded up his clothes and sent them on, because all his clothes were accounted for. All of his clothes were accounted for. I have always, and it wasn't right away. I really thought if you guys were with me when we first started covering this case, I always thought it was Christopher Proudfoot that snapped on Sebastian. At the very beginning of this case, I thought Chris was the one. I thought he was the ultimate responsible party in all of this. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it in my mind who was responsible for this situation. And this was when we were heavily into, me and the mods were up literally around the clock talking about this case, talking about what certain things meant. And Susiana, as well as Pebbles, were kind of on, Katie. They were saying because I was paying so much attention to Chris that I wasn't paying enough attention to Katie Proudfoot. And so they were the two that were kind of, saying, hey, you really need to look down this avenue. There's something here. So I started looking at it. We started realizing that Chris really wasn't home that weekend. He didn't come home that weekend. And everybody's been trying to place him there that weekend, and he didn't come. He hadn't been home. Why hadn't he been home? Because he made his wife an ultimatum. It's your son or it's me. Do you remember when we talked about that little boy? Little redheaded boy. His mom was kind of a heavier set redhead and curly hair, could remind you a lot of Katie Proudfoot, right? And I can't, Hitchinson. Can't remember the kid's name. Good gracious. But we showed her interrogation on here. What had happened is her boyfriend didn't want the kids. The kids were too much. He wanted her to get rid of the kids. And he didn't care what she did with the kids. She just needed to get rid of the kids. And so she took them to a park to drop them off and drive away. All of them, 3 of them. And her youngest son loves his mommy because, Hutchinson, James Hutchinson. Thank you, Lisa. And he loved his mommy. His mommy didn't love him very much, but he loved his mommy so. And he couldn't understand what was going on. And he just held on to that little car door handle as she drove off. She drug him, and he finally dropped, hit his head, lost his life right there. Her children witnessed this as she's driving off. So she turns around and goes and gets the live kids and goes and cleans up the child that lost his life trying to hold on because he just wanted his mommy. There's just some horrible people out there. Chris told Katie it's him or Sebastian. He never came home until Sebastian was gone. We're never going to forget that. We will never forget that. Because we have so many cases, like the Hutchinson case, that shows us what moms are willing to do for their men. A poor boy died for loving his mommy when his mommy didn't even love him. And I feel like that might be the same scenario that we have with Sebastian Rogers. Sebastian Rogers still hasn't been found, while his dad has a face full of tears and wakes up every day and is just dazed and confused and just struggling to put one foot in front of the other. His ex-wife and her husband are living their best life ever, being able to giggle and joke and laugh and have great memories of her son and, share those memories of her son like there's nothing to see over here. They don't even, hardly even acknowledge him missing anymore. It just seems like just a past memory, it's just time to remember the good old times. Like we did for Great Uncle Joe, right? Great Uncle Joe, just a great guy. Man, look at all these beautiful photos. We had such a great time with Uncle Joe. Oh, this was the best time. Ha, 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 ha. She acted like this child was deceased. But this was not the first time she's acted like her child was deceased. She has been littered with past tense, which is a problem. She has been littered with running away, which is a problem. She has been littered with questionable changes to her story, which is a problem. Everything that we have to do with Chris or Katie Proudfoot is a problem. They're a problem. Why are they a problem? Usually we don't. Usually, you know what? The problem here is that usually when we have children that are missing, parents are like, I don't care what you need, just find my kid, right? You need my liver, you need my kidney, you need my lung, you need my heart. I'm happy to hand it to you, right? So we're used to having those type of parents, because that's the normal type of parents that you get when you have a missing child. But when you get the parents that are like, keep the cameras off my house, and you're not talking to my wife by herself. When you start hearing stuff like that, it's like, pump the brakes, sister. We got some problems, okay? We got some problems. These are pretty red flags, okay? We're starting to have some major problems, okay? That's when the sirens are starting to go off, right? We start looking and listening a little closer because we're like, wait a minute, this ain't right. This is abnormal behavior. This is abnormal behavior. Let's see what you got here. Who was that? Okay. It's very interesting. Okay, got it. Maybe this is you. Good morning, Betty. I just wanted to say that CP said in an interview, and I'm not sure which one, but he said that Sebastian was wearing ripped off pants similar. Yeah, the Adidas, similar to the 80s rip-off pants. They were talking about the Adidas, the style. I don't think they were actually rip-off, but I looked them up, and they are used for sports and when a person is immobile, like medical. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, but I think he was implying that the Adidas. Jennifer, former FBI YouTuber, has a video about his clothing, and I told her the same thing. Okay, so maybe I'll go pull that for tomorrow. Tomorrow we should be here. I have to ask. I don't think I have anything on the books for tomorrow. Good morning. Guys, don't forget, if you are in the chat, either the vertical or Miss Thornton, it's nice to see you. I remember Betty. I remember that. It's so sad. Yes. KP did what she did because he gave her an ultimatum, and he stayed because he felt guilty because he didn't mean for that. Bingo! I wish I could put this up on my main screen, but you're on the vertical chat, so I can't show it to everybody. But did you guys hear that? I kind of feel like that's accurate. Listen to this. This truly might be the thing. That's spooky that he had thermal imaging on the walls. In my dream, Sebastian's body was in a white ceiling. Ooh. Good morning, Shining Star. Jackie, good morning. KP had zero desperation in her to locate her. That's the problem. I think that is her and Chris. But listen to this. This is what Miss Thornton says. Miss Thornton's on the vertical, and so I can't put it up here, but she says KP did what she did because he gave her an ultimatum, and he stayed because he felt guilty because he didn't mean for that to happen, is what I believe. That would make sense, that he gave her an ultimatum, but what he basically meant was for her to put him give him to his father or put him into a program. And she lost her shit and went, and he probably stayed with her because he's like, oh shit, I did tell her it was her or me. And he didn't know what to do. And she's probably calling him, you made me do this. This is your fault. Are you happy now? We don't know. We don't know what happened. But whatever happened, they opted not to call law enforcement that evening, but to stage everything and wait until 6 a.m. to make the call. And the problem is they didn't even make the call right away, even though they implied. I don't think they ever thought that we were going to have the minutes and seconds of when those calls were placed. But law enforcement, we've got great investigators in true crime. We just do. I would have been interested to see the reaction of the parents after body. I know. It will be interesting, but I like I said, I think Chris, he's not expecting a body. I think we're going to find, if we find him, it might be, a bone here or a bone there. I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, Chris had a lot of weird scratches up and down his arm by the 4th. So we know he left for 24 hours, 20 to 24 hours. That's a lot of time just to go get a camper. I'm sorry. I've been in campers. I've traveled around this country. I know about skirting. I know about a lot of stuff. And again, the excuse that he was just putting skirting on. Why would he just be putting skirting on? He had that camper parked there at the end of December at the beginning of January. Why is he just putting the skirting on at the end of February when it's about to turn to spring? It seems like a lot of wasted time to do that, and I'd like to see evidence that was done. I'd like to see evidence if that was done, and if it was done, maybe it supports more premeditation than not. That he's setting up his alibi while she's setting up her alibi. Everybody seems to be sleeping, though. When this child disappeared, everybody's sleeping. Blob 2009, yeah. We have a 45-foot camper. It takes us 30 to 44 minutes to pack up and go. Exactly. And even if you had to go to the sump pump thingy, to clean out your water and your, to flush to flush the system, yes, it has to be flushed because you poop in it. Okay. Usually these RVs have bathrooms and you pee and poop. Okay. It has waste. You got to empty your waste back. Otherwise you're going to have poop coming up out of your toilet. Okay. So you've got to clean that stuff out. But even that takes 15 minutes, right? To pump all that waste out of it takes 15 minutes or less. Wouldn't you agree with that? Who is that, Blob? I think that would be accurate, about 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes at the most, depending on how big your tanks are. I wonder if LE questions saying he will never be found. I don't have any faith in what law enforcement is doing. I really don't. Yeah, okay, so I'm about right. Yeah. I know. Hey, we gotta talk reality. The reality of these things is that, we have to get down to the micro minutes because this case, why did Chris leave? He kicked Seth out of the house. He caused this fight and then leaves right after it. Guys, this is such suspicious behavior. It bodes with it. It doesn't bode with logic. Think about it. He got in a fight over who gives a rat's ass about a GoFundMe. What case have we come across where somebody didn't set up a GoFundMe? That's one of the things that we do because when a child is missing, parents can't work, and we can't have their whole lives fall apart because usually most of these people have other children, But it doesn't even matter whether they have children or not. They need resources to go find their kid because more times than not, it's the public that finds these people, not law enforcement, despite what they would like to say. In cases like this, it's the public that ultimately finds the bodies. It's the public that ultimately finds the bones. Look at the one that we're talking about in Marion County right now. Right? They have had people missing from their community. 8 people I was able to locate. I didn't want him found, period. They didn't want him found, period. Yeah, exactly. I don't think they ever did. But, Marion County, they have 8 people missing. Who's finding those 8 people? Do you think law enforcement's just going to be out there and stumble across? No. You know who's going to end up finding those people? Just like what just happened in Marion County, in the woods of Marion County. Somebody's out there and stumbles across them. It's a private person that finds it. It's very rarely in cases like this that it is law enforcement that come across the people. Yet they're the first ones to try to ice out the public in these cases, preventing them from being solved. It's the most asinine thing I've ever seen in law enforcement. You either want to solve the case or you don't. Oh, it's the problem because when the public gets there, they trample on the... Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? when somebody is gone for 2 or 3 years, what evidence do you think is going to be really good? I mean, you're lucky if you get one scintilla of DNA. I mean, usually at that point everything's washed away. But they've already thrown this case into a file somewhere, or in a cabinet somewhere. Nobody even thinks of these people anymore. And then somebody's walking in the woods, stumbles across a person. It's like, well, who the hell could that be? And then we go look, and we got 8 freaking missing people, and nobody's searching for 8 people. It unnerves me. It unnerves me, because what if it was me? You guys got to understand, why am I so passionate about this stuff? Because I had a walk. I survived my walk, okay? But a lot of these people could have been me. And you're telling me nobody would be willing to search for me? By God, that's not good enough for me. That's not good enough for me, and it shouldn't be good enough for you. We should expect more. We are all valuable to somebody, okay? We are all valuable to somebody. We are all loved by someone. And many people deserve more than what they're getting for what we pay a lot of money to law enforcement. Guys, like the Department of Children and Family Services, you know how I feel about that. We spend a lot of money on these services. I expect to get my money's worth. And it's amazing to me how many people sit on the sidelines and are just okay with paying all this money and not getting the services you're paying for. I'm not like that. Sumner County Sheriff's Office is bought and paid for, in my opinion. And you know what? We're shining a light on that. And we're making sure that that's hit and known very, very well. I think that's why we got $200 million stripped from that community. I think we've showed exactly who Eric Craddock is, with him going to the board and asking for raises for himself and to have a nicer office, but not one time did he ever ask for resources to help find Sebastian Wayne Drake. I think that shows who he is as a person. I think that shows his integrity. I think that shows his professionalism. I think he's doing his own damage. It's just taking that and putting that in the right order so the people in the community see what we see. And that's what we need to do is to wake up the community, right? And that's what I try to do. That's why my antics are loud. That's why when I go in places, I want people's attention, right? And when you get people's attention, you get things moving, right? Because they're either going to want to work to get you moved on and get you on your way, or they believe in you and they want to work because they believe in the cause. Either way, I'm good, okay? If you want to get me moved on and moved out right as quickly as possible, come on and help. Let's get me moved right along, right? I don't care where the help comes from. I just care that we get the help. And no matter what, it's one of those two things. Somebody wants to help move me right along, get me the F up out of here, right? Let's just get her up out of here. Let's get her up out of here. Or they're like, okay, let's help her so we can get this moved on up, right? So either way, whatever one you're on, whatever side you're on, I'm fine with the help. I don't really care if you don't like me. I just care for the help. And most people, even when they don't like me, they're willing to help me. Why? Because they want to get me moved on as quickly as possible. And the sooner I get what I need to get done, the sooner I move on, right? And everybody knows that. So I don't care where my help comes from. If you're one of those people that just want to get me moved on, I'm happy for your help just as happy as I am for the people that support me, okay? Just to let you know, I'm happy with the help. Help is help from my book, okay? Help is help. But Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, things are not right. So no matter whether you believe he made it home or didn't make it home, we definitely know there's one key ingredient to all of it. Whether he made it home, whether he didn't make it home. What is it? What is it, guys? Come on. What is the common element, whether he made it home or didn't make it home? Do you guys know what the common element is? Do 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 do. I'll do it. I have not. Who's putting 3? No, he's yeah, there he is. There he is, YouTuber. All right. Woohoo! Woohoo! Now, it's not that he's not home. Yeah, that's part of it. But the one common element, whether he made it home or didn't make it home, is Katie. No matter how you look at this case, whether he made it home or didn't make it home, the common element in either of those is still Katie. Katie, Katie, Katie. You see where I'm going with this? So no matter what angle you're going with here, we know Katie Proudfoot is 100% involved. Okay? That's it. So the common theme, whether he made it home, whether you're on the theory that something happened, there was an interception with Sebastian from the people that were observed, the weird vibe we were getting from the Texas Roadhouse and Katie's behavior and looking around and the talking of the green hoodie person and the yellow jacket person and all those other things. Even with that scenario, even if you believe that scenario, it still doesn't matter. There's still the dynamics, in my opinion, still show the same thing. Katie, whether it's premeditated or spur of the moment, it's Katie. Whether he made it home or didn't make it home, it's Katie. So no matter what, it's Katie, 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 Katie. So that's where we're at in this scenario. So now where does Chris fit in? And it might have to do with what Miss Thornton stated. And Miss Thornton said, KP did what she did because he gave her an ultimatum, and he stayed because he felt guilty because he didn't mean for that to happen, is what I believe, in my opinion. So Chris's attachment to this case is the guilt and how he did give her an ultimatum, how she acted on that ultimatum, how he is complicit in all of this. And I think that he's saying, I need to help her in order to help me. But it's still very strange because if she gave him to somebody, Chris has got to look at her and say, how the hell does a woman do that? And if she did something worse, well, he's known how violent her tendencies have been in the past, whether he's vocalized those to the public or not, because Seth Rogers has vocalized those to the public. So we know she has an abusive side to her. Okay. So this idea that she's not an abusive person, I don't think bodes with the information or the evidence that have been presented. I do believe she has her own problems, which makes sense. I mean, she was SA'd at a five-year-old by her own mother and her boyfriend. So you got to understand, you're not going to have a perfectly well-rounded person that has that type of walk in their history. Okay. So it's not like, do a lot of people have dealt and lived through what Katie has lived through and don't unalive their children and don't throw their children away like garbage. And there are some, but the people that do things like this, we do know have had major problems, including SA issues as a child in their history. So could this be one of those situations? I'm not sure. Prayers and thoughts are with Sebastian. Justice for him. That's what I'm looking for at this point. He has been gone. And people have been able to sleep and get on living. And I find that so offensive. You want to talk about something I find offensive? I don't find words offensive. I find stuff like this highly offensive. When somebody can hurt somebody and literally go home and sleep in bed and think that they've gotten away with it. That's what I find offensive. That's what I find offensive. And so we've got a situation here where we have people, in my opinion, that deserve jail. Even if they're not charged with stuff related to Sebastian's disappearance, they hurt this boy. There's enough evidence that they abused this boy verbally and physically, in my opinion. I think they have enough, at least, to rise to probable cause. And that's all that's required at this stage of the game, is the probable cause. Yet, we have a DA that can't seem to put pen to paper. We've got a law enforcement body that can't seem to do a damn investigation to save their life. I bet you, because this is a racist community, I do believe. I do believe there is some racism here. And the reason why I say that, and some people may disagree, and I don't want to overstep, but it seems to me that I've looked at past cases, and it seems that they were very eager to close a lot of cases with people that don't look like me. But when it comes to people that look like me or Chris Proudfoot or are Chris Proudfoot, it seems like they get a little bit of a different bite at the apple. And I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. And it seems to me that everybody out here that screams, oh, anti-racism, oh, Betty's racist and stuff like that, they seem not to have a problem with any of this. So they're basically saying the racist has the problem with the racism. Got it. Sounds like it's falling on deaf ears. Got it. But I digress. What I want for this community moving forward is I just want a reality check. I would like them to understand how important it is to have a good running system, because this could be their child. And I am so, I don't even know the word to express that. I'm just so shocked that nobody even puts themselves in the place of Seth. Like, I'm shocked that nobody says, oh my gosh, this could be my child, and law enforcement just isn't doing enough. I can't sit by and allow this to continue to go on like this. You know, those are the things that I sit here and listen to and look at, and it's like, why aren't we getting that here? Why? You know, why? I feel like nobody has, I shouldn't say nobody, because I can tell you, I've met some great people out there in Hendersonville. I just not enough. That's the problem. I've met great people out there that are doing their best. But, you know, even those people are scared of their own government. I'm not scared of my government here. You know? I can't imagine living in a community where I would be worried about my government. I don't worry about my government here. You know, if I do something wrong, they'll arrest me. If I do something right, well, then they'll just let me be. It's not like I'm getting an accommodation or anything, right? But I don't fear. Like, if I want to drop in the middle of the road and start protesting, I'm going to do it. Like, I don't have fear that I'm going to have, you know, the cops coming there with the chinks time to take me to the pit, you know, the clink. I'm just saying. I don't have that fear. I don't have the fear of when I go up and I start screaming at somebody, you know, me having to worry about it. Or if I'm sitting here on my political talking point or whatever, and I have my signs and my bullhorn on a corner, you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't have fear of my government coming after me or punishing me. I don't have that fear. People in Sumner County, they fear that. They're scared to do that because of what their government will do to them. I have a problem with that whole entire dynamic. That is not that. No. I come out here. I try to empower people to raise their voice, do whatever they need to do under the laws, under the proper laws. And when you follow the laws, law enforcement is not allowed to touch you. That's what we're told. Okay? I never believed in 2025 I would ever be arrested for my freedom of speech. I never thought that. Well, I was proven wrong, and it was in this county. I have never committed a crime in this county. I never even sped in this county. Okay? I followed every single law, every single traffic thing. I had no problems whatsoever for the entire 3 days I was in this community, outside of the bozos like Chris Proudfoot threatening to run me over, and his entourage of fat pigs that were sitting there trying to dox my location and put me in harm's way, right? They were trying to threaten my life, not the other way around, yet they threw me in jail when I would not comply or back down, to intimidate me. And they used law enforcement to do it. That's corruption. That's the whole definition of corruption. But see, Sumner County only thought they were getting a victim rights advocate, not a political activist. I guess you should know your audience. Maybe your detectives should do better research. Do some better detective work. Oh, that's right. They don't know how to do that. We got Sumner County running the show. Sorry, I forgot. That's the one thing that they lack. Being able to do proper investigations and research. I should have known. They didn't care to know the truth. All they cared is the intimidation factor. How do they like me now? Is this little girl shaking in her boots? All those men, those country men that think that they can just raise their voice and the women are to comply. I'm not from that generation. I'm from Florida, okay? One thing I can tell you about my daddy taught this girl not to depend on a man. Okay, not that it was the best advice in the world, right? Because I definitely believe that people should be married, have children, and stuff like that. But my daddy did teach me valuable lessons, and those valuable lessons was never to depend on a man. I can literally do plumbing work, electrical work. I can do construction work. I know how to put in drain systems. I know how to fix an electrical problem in my house. I know how to change brakes on my car, and I know how to do appliance work, okay? So whenever push comes to shove, I literally don't have to call anybody. If I have a plumbing problem, I call the plumber because I don't want to do it myself. Not that I can't. And that's what I love. And I think everybody should be raised somewhat like that. I think you should depend on somebody. I think you should, trust somebody to have that stability on your back. I think everybody should know that. Okay. Unfortunately, my walk has not provided me with that. So until I get that, I'll continue to do things just the way I've always been, not relying or depending on anyone to get them done. You know, I'm just from that era. You want to know why I'm so rough around the edges? It's because when you got to do everything yourself, you don't have time for the bullshit. Okay? And when people come with the bullshit, you put an into it. I don't want to hear it. I've got too many bigger things to deal with here, right? And many of you guys do. We spend our time on these cases because we have the love of the case, our activism for these cases and raising awareness to them. That's what we do, you know? And do I think it was the best, advice in the world? In my current lifestyle, yes, I would be broke right now if I didn't know how to do a lot of stuff myself. Okay, things around this country are very expensive, and having somebody to do those things for you are even more expensive. Okay, I try to cut out the middleman. That means if I can do it myself, I will. Okay, my fences are halfway falling down, still from the hurricane from 2 years ago. Okay, I didn't want to pay somebody, so guess what? They're still half falling down. Okay. Thank goodness for the chain link. I never took the chain link fence around, away from my house because I never put the permit. I never pulled a permit for the wood fence. The wood fence, I didn't need the only time I needed the permit for the wood fence is if my chain link fence went down. Otherwise, it's just decoration. Right. So I chose to do that. And, now that fence is gone, I still have a fence. So I got I got a chain link. I don't like chain link. I like privacy. But my privacy has been stripped in more ways than one. So we're just rolling with it. One day I'll get out there and get those wood panels out to the road. But now that they're charging me $59 a piece, we're going to have to fix the garbage problem before I worry about the fence problem. I'm just saying. So if you're wondering why Betty's all dolled up, because I got to go fix our problems here in Manatee County. No, I'm just joking. So many children are missing. We need justice. We do. And when it comes down to law enforcement, I think we need to start challenging our law enforcement to want to close the cases instead of wanting to find the person, because it's an ego thing. It's always been an ego thing. Even John Benet Ramsey, it's an ego thing. Why is the case dragged on for 30 years? Because Boulder, Colorado's had a pissing contest with everybody, the whole entire nation. Okay? I'm sorry, you folks from Colorado need to be doing something about that. If you live in Boulder, Colorado, and you guys aren't up there giving hell to your law enforcement, then you're doing it wrong. Because I don't care who's responsible for it. I don't care if it's John. I don't care if it's Patsy. I don't care if it's their friends. I don't care if it was the crackpot religious guy or the frickin' the crackpot homeless guy. I don't care who it is. Just solve the damn case at this point. Fighting over DNA when we know that DNA solves cases is stupid. Anybody that's sitting here saying we don't want to turn DNA over, you're an asshole. And you know who's doing that? Boulder, Colorado. Okay? So let's stop with the bull crap. Let's realize this case has gone on for 30 years and let's get it done. Let's nip it in the bud. Boulder, Colorado is holding this case up because they were wrong from the beginning. They screwed up this case, much like Sumner County is doing. And they don't want the whole world knowing how shitty they were. How garbage crap, because it was all out of a lens. They had a narrative to drive. They did not do a proper investigation because they had already, because this was right off Susan Smith's case, they had already convicted the parents. They had already convicted the parents. In their mind, mommy or daddy did it. And when you have an investigation focused on proving that a mommy and daddy did it, you're missing a whole lot of evidence. A whole lot of evidence. Now, I'm not saying, I Lore Lodge, as well as the deception detective, those are two people that I highly regard. And so it's very hard for me to go totally against their assessments on this case with my own assessment. I don't think it was Patsy or John. I think it was their friends. I think it was their friends, their closest confidants. I think it was the Whites. And I don't think it was the wife. I think it was the husband. And the reason why I think it was the husband is because he called 911 2 days before at the children's party. And they said it was just, a drunk dial. Who gets drunk in a house and picks up a phone and dials 911 as an adult? To me, everything I know from casing joints and everything like that, that was, for me, a telltale sign that everybody has dismissed and overlooked as some drunk guy making a phone call. I never did. I truly believe that was this guy timing to see how long it would take law enforcement to show up at that house if he broke in and they called law. He wanted to know how much time he would have to escape that house. And who did that? Who made that call? Everybody has told us over the years it was Mr. White, the best friend to John Ramsey. The best friend. And so if he was a best friend, let's think about this. What does my best friend know about me? She knows everything. Okay? My best friend knows how much money I make. She knows what my net worth is. She knows my silos that I go. She knows the people that support me if I need this, that, or the other. She knows the dirt. She knows where the proverbial dead bodies are. Okay? My best friend knows that about me. Just like your best friend knows that about you. So now we come back to who would have known how much his bonus was. How much was his bonus? Everybody's like, they had the specific bonus. Who would have ever known that? His best friend. His best friend would have known that. His best friend would have been known to this child. So him going up into her room and waking her up out of bed and saying, shh, come down. Let's get you some pineapple. Right? She wouldn't have screamed. Why? Because she knew him. She knew him well. She knew and was taught he was a trusted person. He would have been in that house so many times, he would have known where every little nook and cranny of that house was. And I think he realized he was not going to be able to get her out of the house. And the damage was done, and he needed to eliminate the evidence. Sounded like he got a little excited and premature, because there were, from what I heard, there was some semen stains in the area where she was found. I don't know why I've went toward the Whites. The Whites have been, very nonchalant throughout the whole entire story, but I think it's because they've been so nonchalant throughout the entire story. They were the ones that nobody would ever think did anything. Yet they would have been the ones that would know every aspect of the Ramsey's life. And so with that, it's the 911 call, okay? The only reason why I'm looking at the Whites is the 911 call. It's the 911 call. It's the 911 call, okay? Because that, to me, that was, I'm sorry. If you've never cased out a joint before, then you'll never understand what the purpose of that would be. But you come from a life of casing out joints. You come from a life of ganking and robbing. Now, you got to remember, I didn't come from that life, but I was around a lot of people that did. Okay? My walk and all. My walk and all. Don't forget my walk. I know you look at me right now and I'm up, I'm dressed, I'm with a dress. You guys look at me, I'm professional at times. I had to walk. And one of those strategies is calling 911 on a random thing. You know, I heard a noise. Sounds like somebody's coming in. I saw a suspicious person. You know, or just calling 911 and hanging up from the phone on the corner, right? Whatever the case may be. But you had to look to see how long it took law enforcement to get there. Why? Because you needed to know how much time you have to work. Okay? Without having that tidbit of information, no planning that you do to rob or gank or whatever the hell you're going to be doing is going to work if you don't know how long you have before law enforcement, the popo, arrives. Okay? So to me, it sounded like somebody trying to determine how long it's going to take for the popo to arrive. And he was able to clearly see it. He was saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was so drunk, officer. I don't know why I picked up the phone and dialed 911, but nothing's going on here. You want a cookie?" Right? I kind of see it going like that. This was back in the 90s. People were, you know, we didn't look at one another like we look at each other today. You know, OG saying gang. But Bartholomew KP sounds like she does. No emotion, Sally. We went over that. Absolutely. Hands down. Yeah. We went over that. We went over a lot. But Katie, like even the speech pattern, like I could do this and I could switch from Courtney speaking and switch back to Katie speaking. I'm like, man, this is pretty stinking close. This is like they truly have the same speech pattern. It was uncanny. Different words, different voices. But I mean, I just want to make sure my daughter is okay. Oh, we just had a great time at this game. We were playing sword fighting with the corn. Yeah, and I really don't care where she is. I just want to make sure that the baby and her are okay. Yeah, and we had a great time at that haunted house. I mean, just back and forth. And it was just like you could just boom, boom. I mean, that's the way they were talking. Just very... Like, it was OG must mean original gangster. Gotta educate people. Some people are from the streets, some people aren't, okay? I try telling you, half holy, half hood. That means you can pray with me, but don't play with me. Susan Smith, eyes closed when speaking. Yes! Yeah, can't look at nobody eyeball to eyeball. You know why? Because people feel like you're reaching into their soul. When you look at them eyeball to eyeball, when you're having a conversation, you don't worry about it, right? But when you're lying, you just can't look at it's something about the human body. And that's why, there are people that can do it, but we label them narcissists or psychopaths or sociopaths and stuff like that. There's something seriously wrong with you. But for most of us, believe it or not, it's hard for us to lie to somebody. I mean, we can do it without looking. We can do it by writing a letter. We can do it a number of ways. But when we have to sit there, that's why it's so hard to lie on, say, the stand. Because you never know what they're going to ask or what they have, what they're going to use as evidence against you. So anyways, guys, I really do appreciate your time this morning. I know we have so much to go over with the Sebastian Rogers case. I don't think we've ever resolved whether this was premeditated or spur of the moment. I really, truly believe we all kind of have our own opinions about what truly transpired the evening before. And we know it was the evening before. How do we know? Because Chris told us. Chris is the one that told us when this child disappeared. It wasn't the early morning hours. Something happened to him the night before. How do we know? I'll tell you how we know. And you can fact check this. Who wants to know how we know that this, whatever happened to Sebastian, happened on the 25th and not the 26th? Who would like to know? Raise your hand if you guys would like to know. I'll sit here till I get a hand raised. Do 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 do. Okay. Okay. We got one. We got one. We got two. We got two. We got two people that want to know. Oh, we got three. We got three. We got four. Oh, 5, 6. Ooh, ooh, ooh. 7. Ooh, 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 ooh. So you guys want to know. You guys want to know. This is how I know what happened the evening before. Because Seth on Web Sleuths. So you guys got a point. You guys can go fact check this yourself. So Web Sleuth. Seth called in. He couldn't, his internet wouldn't allow him to come up on stage. So I can't remember the lady's name. I don't know the lady, but it was Web Sleuths. And Seth was on the phone and wanted to ask Chris. Chris was in a mood. He was already short. Yeah, what do you want? What do you want? Just ask me. Just ask me. Well, you know, there are a lot of rumors that say that your parents have my son. You know, my mom has nothing to do with it. They never even saw Chris, or they never even saw Katie or Sebastian Sunday evening. Nobody saw anybody Sunday evening. They know where my parents were Sunday evening. Sunday night. Sunday night. Yes. Yes. I find my Sunday night. Where is mine? I don't like that one. So, that tells me, right there, and he was adamant. You know where my parents were Sunday night. You know they had no contact with Katie or Sebastian Sunday night. You know why? Because he knew this child didn't disappear. You know why he's gone? And why the date of abduction? Remember, there's an Amber Alert? It's because it seems to me that everybody saw him being pulled out of the house at 3 a.m. in the morning and loaded into a car. Okay? How in the hell can you get an abduction, an Amber Alert, in Tennessee when there's no abduction? We've gone through this. We've already had 3 children since this case that never once got an Amber Alert, including Melody Buzzard. Why? Because there was no element of abduction. It never rose to an Amber Alert based on their new policies for Amber Alerts. They can use local alerts like endangered person alerts and stuff like that, but they cannot add this to an Amber Alert unless certain criteria is met, including evidence of the abduction, a car, a description of a car, or a license plate. So clearly I thought it was an SUV. I could make an SUV, but Mob Crew says no. He believes this is a car. I'm still not on board with that, but he's provided enough supporting stuff that would lead to believe it could be a sedan, even attaching a Honda Accord to it as a possible car that they believe that those lights were going to. I'm unsure. But that's the only way, in my opinion, they could have ever gotten an Amber Alert in Tennessee. I've looked at their things. It doesn't mean that he's autistic and he automatically gets an Amber Alert, because then every single autistic child across this country would get an Amber Alert. And guess what? Not every single child across this country gets an Amber Alert. Okay? So it has nothing to do with medical stuff. It has to do with whether there was a proof of an abduction or not. That's what an Amber Alert is for, abducted children. He has an Amber Alert. How were they able to prove the abduction? How were they able to prove the abduction? I think it was because they saw the car. The car that they're trying to act like doesn't exist. The lights video that they try to act like is just a reflection. There was a hit at the pond around the corner that 3 days later they said was a false positive. They never said it was a false positive the day of. They didn't determine it was a false positive until days later. How is that possible? How is that possible? Something doesn't add up here. Something doesn't add up here. So I believe there was a car. I believe there was lights. I believe that there was something being taken out of the house at 3 a.m., but I believe whatever happened on the 25th, Sunday night. Why do I think it was Sunday night? Because that's what Chris said. That's what Chris said. That's Chris's statements. When he made that statement that we know that his mother didn't have anything to do with Katie or Sebastian Sunday night. There's no possibility that they would have kidnapped him Sunday night. That tells me that the problem happened Sunday night. Who would know that? Maybe the two people on the phone Sunday night. There were only two people on the phone Sunday night. And that was Chris and that was Katie. That was Chris and that was Katie. So, again, the one common theme, whether or not you believe this child never made it home or made it home, the common theme is this child is one, gone. But no matter where you look at this case, Katie Proudfoot is involved. Katie Proudfoot is involved. Now, Seth has a lot more faith in his ex-wife than I do. He believes his ex-wife could never, she could do a lot, but she could never unalive her child. I hope he's right. I really do. I hope and pray he knows her better than I know guilty people. You know? I really do. I would love to see Sebastian come home. I would love to be wrong. You know? I really would. But we're on 2 years now. We know this is not good. We all know it. We all know it in our gut. We can deny it. We can all deny what we feel. Some days I try to deny it. Sometimes I just wish I was wrong, that I'm not looking at something right, that, you know, people, you know, at this point, I want like the hate channels to make me feel bad. Like, haha, you were wrong. You know, just doing the shitty crap that they do. Like, I almost want that happening, you know, because I want to be wrong so bad. And I just don't feel I am, you know, and that's the part that keeps me awake at night. So anyways, guys, I have got to run. It's 8 o'clock. I've got to be, I've got a lot of stuff to do today. Hopefully I'll be back later this afternoon and am able to get going with the lives. I'm going to try on the days that I have my political stuff here for the county. I'm going to try to get here as early as possible to get a live through so we can have some talking points, say good morning to each other. But I've got a lot of obligations. Okay. I know you guys know how much is on the line, you know, over the next, 2 years, 2026 and 2028, that it does require my attention. Okay. I try as hard as I can to stay home and do stuff, you know, from the house as much as possible. It saves me time, it saves me money, but some things just require a personal attendance. I can't do quasi-judicial stuff from home. You have to be sworn in. You have to be able to speak. Quite frankly, we're having some development problems, and I'm having issues where developers are schmoozing my I should quit saying mine, because it's really our politicians, you know. I just take personal ownership of everything that goes on here, and I'm not happy. I'm very, very disgruntled at this point, and nobody is speaking my language at the moment. So I'm going scorch earth on everybody, and everybody knows it. I mean, they have already all been warned. They know we're not friendly right now. So I think we're all going to be kind of beating the shit out of each other in those meetings. I really do, because I don't play. I come in there, I'm snarky. I want people to know how disgusted I am with their behavior. And so I don't know how snarky I'm going to be for how long. I don't know. I haven't made that decision yet. But I've made the decision. I'm definitely going to be showing my ass. I'm definitely going to be showing my ass within the rules. I'm going to do everything I can within the rules to make everybody look like shit. And I'm going in there and I'm saying it publicly. So it's not like these people don't know that I'm coming in. These people already know that I'm knock knock. Here we go. Right. I sit things out when I think things are going and I knew things were going badly, but there was nothing I could do. There was nothing I could do. And going in and wasting my time talking to a freaking wall called the county board of county commissioners, I wasn't going to waste my time with. But now I have an opportunity to start getting in there and start helping get them out, because we're coming up to some of the elections now for 2026. I'm going to do that. I'm stepping up to the plate. I got to remove a couple with the great help of other people. I've already spoke and reached out across the aisle, the political aisle, and had an opportunity to speak with one of the Democrat activists and advocates for the Democrat side. So I know right now at least one of my politicians is gone. Now we're going to still be arguing and butting heads with the Democrat side on who to fill that position. They're going to want a Democrat. I'm going to want a Republican. And that's going to be, the back and forth and the pow wow. But I think at the end of the day, we realize that the representation we currently have is not working for either side. Their side or our side. So I think we're going to be coming together at least to thwart that county commissioner off the board. So I know the county commissioner I'm going after to get off the board is coming off the board. I know that 100%, hands down, she's done. So now I've just got to figure out who can we get the majority of the votes to vote for to fill out seat. That's going to be the problem we have. And District 2 is going to be one of those things which, I'm sorry, I'm a Republican, so I'm going to favor Republicans more so. But right now I'm getting pretty much Democrat representation anyways. So I'm sorry. You guys are like, Betty, I'm a Democrat. I like you. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I like you too, just not politically, okay? You're just going to have to love me when you can love me, and you're just going to have to hate me when you need to hate me. That's all I'm saying, okay? That's all I'm saying. That's how we roll. That's how we roll over here on the Bullhorn Buddy channel, okay? I still love you. I still love you as a human being, okay? Is Mr. and Mrs. E in the chat? I see orange. Aw. Asking for more players for middle E. He needs them. Aw, I was hoping for good news. That doesn't sound like good news. All right, guys, I got to get this little girl here outside and let her go potty before I take off. So I will see you guys later this afternoon, hopefully, or we'll be back tomorrow morning. It really depends on my, how lack of energy I've got when I get back here. I don't know if I'm going to the ribbon cutting or if I'm just going to be in the planning board all day. But I will know, I guess, as everybody else learns. So anyways, guys, take care. God bless, and we'll see you soon. For those in the vertical stream, you guys are done. For those that are in the horizontal stream, I hope you guys have a great day. We will be back here. I will be trying to drop some videos on, if you haven't been on the Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories channel yet, I do drop some videos over there, especially if you don't have the 2 or 3 hours to watch the live. I've been pulling some of the clips out of the lives that I thought were really important information, so you guys don't miss it. All right, guys, we'll see you soon, okay? Rock it out with your coffee beans out.